It's fine.
All right, welcome back to the Spook House, everybody. My name is Phil, and you all know my co-host, Doug. Put some pants on. We got company tonight. Galliardo. How are you, my friend?
You know I'm always rocking diapers. It's impossible to wear pants. But
so
we also have a special guest in here. Sweet baby Villanelle. She's wearing no pants.
And she has an adorable cast on her leg.
Yeah, poor baby fractured herself. But she's acting like she's still Evel Knievel, so it's fine.
Well, we also have some guests in the house. We have
Daddy.
Lance and Steven from Toxic Coffin. What is up, dudes?
What's up? I'm on the moon.
I'm taking a shit.
Complete two opposite sides of the spectrum here. I love the variety.
So I want to ask you guys, since it just came out, what are your thoughts on the Maxine trailer? Did you get a chance to see it?
I did, yes. Why does she sound less Southern? Is she just hiding her history? Did you notice that? Did you pick up on that?
Maybe a little bit now that you mention it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when you're an actor moving to like LA, you could kind of mask your accent. So possibly, what could she be doing? She could be doing that for like the role that she's filming for, because you saw that they were on like the lot, whatever it is, either Universal or Warner Brothers. Kind of hard to tell.
Sure.
But yeah, when she says "I'm Maxine fucking Minx" or whatever, like that sounded Southern.
That's true. You're right.
But in the other scenes, yeah, I did kind of notice that there was a little difference in her accent.
Sure. Yeah,
I have not seen it yet, so I'll be excited to check it out.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Are you holding off on it for a reason? Like you don't want to be spoiled by anything, or?
No, I just it hasn't crossed my path yet, but I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, it looks good. I always get nervous, to be honest, with like a lot of the like 80s themed movies or shows, because I feel like a lot of times they kind of miss the mark a little bit stylistically, because it is so it's so overly saturated in style that they do too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or if they go overboard with it and it's like, hey, remember the Rubik's Cube? It's the 80s.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's one way to show that you're in the 80s. But
yeah, like every scene is like 80s filled. Like
I don't think Ty West will be corny with it. I mean, so far he captured the grindhouse style in X and the classic Hollywood style in Pearl. So I have faith that he'll do the 80s justice. Sleazy LA 80s.
I think so.
Yeah, along the lines of like, sorry.
No, you're good. I'll be hyped for it though.
It looks like it's gonna be a perfect ending to a solid trilogy. It looks like he's gonna stick the landing with this last movie, and it's very much in the vein of like Brian De Palma movies, like Dress to Kill, Body Double, and like you could just tell he has like just great. He knows how to build tension. He knows how to make fun. Like everything he does is very unique.
Yeah, did you pick up on like, because there's the whatever the West Coast or whatever the serial killer is that is going on. Did you pick up like the scene where they show the body and it looks like there's like a carving out of all of them, like it has a mark? I was like, oh, okay, sweet. So we got like a little like signature for the killer and everything. I dig that. So
yeah, I really like the chronology of the trilogy makes it more interesting, I think, and because you go into X not really expecting anything more, but then it keeps developing afterwards. And I just really like the way that he structured everything. It's much more interesting than just going from beginning to end kind of deal.
Yeah, that whole thing, the whole X trilogy was, or whatever you want to call it, Pearl trilogy, kind of caught everyone by surprise because no one really knew it was going to be anything more than just like a throwback 70s old school classic slasher. And then when you get the end credit scene, and because I don't know about you guys, but I didn't stay after the credits because I'm like, this is not a Marvel movie. there's going to be nothing at the end of this shit. And
Well,
then,
just felt like a one shot, kind of like sick. He did a cool slasher, dirty slasher.
exactly. And you could still watch it as like just like a standalone type of movie. And the fact that he decided to do a whole prequel and then fast forward again, it's just a cool way to maneuver like a trilogy. Like it's not chronological, and I think all the movies can stand on their own, but it is part of a bigger story. So it's kind of cool how he's wrapping it up.
Like we hadn't really seen. He was doing like more TV shows and stuff like that for a little bit, and then he just was like came back super strong. So I'm all for it.
Because House of the Devil came out a really long time ago,
like 2010 or something.
Yeah, like 2009, 2010, and like that movie, when people talk about Ty West, I feel like before X and Pearl and Maxine, it was House of the Devil. Like that's what he was known for. And now it's funny to go back. I've been going back to his filmography. I watched the one that he did on the what's the murder where people like drink the Kool-Aid and they have like a cult.
Sacrament.
Yes, Sacrament. That shit
So
was
good.
really, really good.
I love that movie.
It was really good. And
I
I personally didn't like the Innkeepers. I thought that was a little, lacking everything.
Well, if that one feels like an adult "Are You Afraid of the Dark" episode to me, which made me kind of nostalgic for the style and the vibe of it. It made it feel like I was watching "Are You Afraid of the Dark" or something. But
The whole comparison.
Yeah, and Are You Afraid of the Dark honestly has like scarier episodes than a lot of full-blown horror movies that have came out in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The Laughing Clown. Yeah.
Terrifying.
The hacker, the computer virus guy. Remember him? He's like
vaguely
like
remember.
It was like a little person, and he's like painted all silver, and he's got like this big brain like prosthetic on his head, and he's like, dude, it's terrifying.
Honestly, for a kid show, they went like hard R for that. Like for the time, it felt like they were just going balls to the wall.
Yeah, the hidden pool in the school, and there's the ghost that's in it, and they drop the iodine in the pool.
Oh.
And it's like, what? And I showed that to my daughter. She's 11 now, but I showed it to her when she was probably like maybe 6 or something like that. And I was like, check this shit out. And she was like, this isn't scary. And then that episode, like, she was just like, can we turn this off? And I was just like, oh, no,
people say it might be bad parenting. I call that character building.
Yeah, exactly.
We all experienced it back in the day. Just want to pass down what we learned.
Yeah, it's balance. You gotta balance it out.
Positive and negative.
That Nosferatu episode, the movie theater one, I love that episode so much. And they're like, he's taking the fear of people in the theater and making a soup out of it. Just incredible. So good.
For those that don't know, Lance and Steven, they run Toxic Coffin. So how long have you guys been doing that? And what was the initial idea to start a t-shirt company?
Well, originally Lance and I were like, so Lance and I went to high school together. We played in bands and stuff like that. So, we've done a lot of like fun, creative projects, and Lance moved to the Outer Banks, which is where I live. And we started writing music again, and just doing kind of like poorly done, like horror movie score, John Carpenter-esque stuff. Lance plays synthesizers, and I try everything as possible to make my guitar not sound like a guitar. So we're just doing like weird music. But then he had another kid, and then COVID happened, and like everything started shutting down. And we were kind of just like, oh man, like, and we love Halloween, just like the holiday, it's like our favorite time of year. And we were like, we might not be able to go like trick-or-treating this year. That's kind of crazy to think. And so, we didn't have time to write music anymore. So we were like, what if we just like weirdly, like if we put Halloween out to the universe, maybe that helps like save Halloween in a weird, like universal kind of like way. So we're like, let's make some like fun Halloween merchandise and like just put it out there. Cause if we all can't go trick or treating, like we should still be able to like celebrate it somehow. So yeah, we just started off with like some stickers, like an enamel pen, and some t-shirt designs that were all just Halloween specific. And then from there we moved on to horror t-shirts. So
was it called Toxic Coffin when you started that?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Which that like there isn't really like any rhyme or reason to the name other than like Lance and I just wrote 1,000 spooky words together. And we'd be like, what about this? No, that sounds dumb. No, that sounds dumb. And we were like, Toxic Coffin. We're like, fun.
Yeah, sure. People do remember it. And whenever I wear, like, I have the Fright Night long sleeve from you guys, and the Rosemary's Baby long sleeve, and people always compliment my shirt or whatever, and they always say, "Wait, like, where'd you get it?" And I said, "Toxic Coffin. They're dope dudes." Go to their website and they're like, Toxic Coffin. Like, when they repeat it back, I feel like it sticks in their brain.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Really can't forget that name.
I think I have like 7 Toxic Coffin shirts in my closet. I've worn out that Lost Boys and Suspiria shirt. Like,
yeah, those are two of my favorites for sure. Yeah, when we started doing the Halloween, we had always hoped to do like more like movie themed things as well. It was all like part of what we were hoping to do. And so we had, a vision of what like the rest of the year would look like. Cause instead of doing Halloween all year long, like how could we spread it out and then come back to Halloween when the time came again. So then after Halloween, we started moving into what kind of movies we would want to do and that kind of stuff.
what was the first movie you guys did?
It was 28 Days Later.
Really?
Sweet. Yep. Not a lot of merch for 28 Days Later, really.
Yeah, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and I have such a visceral memory of seeing the trailers on TV when I was in like early high school, and seeing those those bright red eyes in the rain looking through the window. Like, that's burned into my memory forever. And there's just something super special about the music in that movie with Godspeed You Back Emperor doing some of the score, and I love it. It's like it sits in this very special point for me in terms of like falling in love with horror movies and like confronting your fear about like a movie you're super afraid to go watch kind of deal. And we loved it so that, and we both have similar feelings about it. So that was like, let's do that one as our first one.
Well, we were trying to figure out a way to do something, again, like you mentioned, not having a lot of merch for that, because we were like, all right, we're a new brand. Like, what can we do that's different? That
Halloween.
Exactly.
There's not enough Halloween merch out there, guys.
Yeah, Michael Myers is really underappreciated in the entire world, not just the horror community. Not a lot of people know the name Michael Myers.
You mean the comedian, the guy in Austin Powers?
Yeah, Love Guru really doesn't get enough attention.
But yeah, like when we first started too, the idea of now it feels so like normal, but like starting off, we were like, well, how do we do movie t-shirts? We don't have like license for this, and it's no secret that most of the brands like us, we're essentially bootleg brands. And so like 28 Days Later was like, that seems like a film that should be safe enough to like make something, not get a cease and desist right away. And again, also nobody's really doing it, because we were really afraid of putting out a design that like another brand was doing. Like, we didn't want, like, especially like the bigger brands like Fright Rags or something, because when we first started, like, again, shout out to Cody at Studio House. Like, he was one of the guys that, like, when we first were coming up with the idea, I just shot him a message and was just like, hey, like, would you be comfortable like talking about like how you started your brand and like what you do? And he was like, yeah, you got like a couple minutes to chat? And I was like I'd never talked to him. I bought shirts from him, and I was like, sure. And then we talked for like 2 hours, and he was just like super, super friendly, and was like, yeah, this is, kind of what I do, and this is what I try to avoid. And then I was just like, I hope you don't think we're like trying to copy what you're doing. And he was like, oh dude, I don't care. He's like, I love it. He's like, he was like, there can be 1 million, horror movie t-shirt companies. And he's like, I'd be happy for there to be 1 million more, as long as everybody's like supporting each other and like building up a cool community. He's like, that's what it's supposed to be about. And I was like, okay, sick. Awesome. And so, yeah, so he was super integral for like helping us with that. And then, so we were just kind of shy of like, let's not make anything anybody else is making, because we didn't want anybody to think we're biting off of them, But so 28 Days Later was simple enough for us to go to. And it was, like Lance said, it's like one of our favorites. And kind of when we started, we were trying to figure out a way to differentiate ourselves by doing like a collection sort of. So that was what we called like our post-apocalypse collection. So we did 28 Days Later, and then like a month later we did Night of the Comet. So we were like, how can we do like something, like let's do something modern, and then also let's do something that's like a cult classic kind of thing. And that was sort of our like goal for every drop. But then we quickly learned that we had to be more like on the fly with our drops and ready to pivot, because we are essentially a bootleg company, and had to watch out for like, like we just heard like this is a film you shouldn't touch, or this brand just dropped this, so we need to like do something different, so
I think that's the beauty of all of these like t-shirt companies and merch companies like Toxic Coffin, you guys obviously, and you mentioned Studio House, and they're pretty like one of the top guys in the game. You guys don't really step on each other's toes, and no matter what, even if there are numerous shirts of certain movies, horror fans will buy them all. Like, and I say this as a compliment, horror fans are suckers. Like, I want to buy everything.
Sure.
Like when I see like, and everyone, and a lot of us have that mentality. Like, we want this shirt, we want to support these people and those people, because like everyone comes out with such dope stuff, and you guys are pretty unique. I want to know what like the design process is when it comes, because there's a lot of people or a lot of companies that I feel like, this is just me personally, some designs are a little too like cluttered and there's a lot of stuff going on, but your guys' designs, it's just, it reminds me of like cozy autumn.
Sure.
Yeah. I co-sign on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of even also just why we wanted to start what we started. I mean, like we have nothing against any of the other like horror shirt brands. I mean, like Cody was a big inspiration. Like I love what he does. He always seems to like, do more with less than some of the other brands. As far as like his visual aesthetic and his layouts, but like, for the longest time, and I mean, Fright Rags are what they are, for a long time, but like most of their graphics, we call them like carnival graphics, like where you go to a carnival and you get the shirt that's like just has absolutely everything on it, which is cool. And I totally get it. Like, cause we battle this when we have to do a movie t-shirt where like some films have so many things in it that it's so hard not to like pay tribute to that. But also like those shirts, like I don't have anything against Fright Rags, but I don't like their designs because, I don't know. I like something that is slightly more refined. I like something that, leaves a little bit more to the imagination and hopefully is a little bit smarter or more considered. And so that's kind of like we made shirts because I wanted to wear shirts that I couldn't buy,
Yeah, I agree with you on the Fright Rags front. I feel like a lot of their designs are, sorry, she was going to do some Evel Knievel stuff.
Protect that puppy.
Okay, no, we can protect our dogs. What was I going to say? Yeah, their designs seem to all be very similar, where there's like one focal point in the center, and then everything, it's like a Marvel movie poster. Like everything's kind of jetting out the side, and it seems like it's a lot of the same for all the t-shirts. Where you guys, like there's one thing that you guys focus on, like for example, like the Rosemarys Baby. Like I would like that. That's what drew me to it. The fact that it was the hotel, the apartment complex, which I've never seen on a shirt really. But the way it is, it's like not cartoony, but it's not like surreal. It's just like, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, it's aesthetically pleasing too, with like the symmetry of the the floors and
yeah.
So,
Well, again,
who designs
that was like
all the graphics and everything?
So I do like 90% of the graphics.
What the fuck are you doing here, Lance?
Nothing.
He's hanging out on the moon.
No, in a lot of the conceptualization of the graphics, we talk a lot about what we love in the movies. Like, for instance, the Rosemary's Baby shirt, that was, what do we love about Rosemary's Baby? And we talked about how the movie starts with the Bramford, the apartment, and then it ends with the Bramford as its own character throughout the entire thing. So that was part of us talking about it and what we love about it. And so that's how those conversations are what help build what makes a Toxic Coffin graphic. And then Steven uses his magic, and I think he's one of the best designers I've ever seen, and that's my biased best friend opinion, but I think it's true. So it gives us a unique vision on what we want to bring, because we are really focused on what we love about the movie, and then hopefully that resonates with other people too when they see the shirt or see the design.
Yeah.
And it's not like anything generic.
Definitely, to be fair though, like we have a lot of shirts that we make, and we go to shows, and we get a ton of customers that are like, oh, but it doesn't have this on it, or it doesn't have that character on it, and so we lose sales due to that. But we like to stick to what we like, and we've appreciated the customer base that we've had that appreciates the vision that we have for it too. So it's
what's an example of that? Like, what did people come up to you at like Carolina Fear Fest want, and they like clearly said like, yeah, I'm gonna skip on this, it doesn't have
well, nothing that we've like tried to skip, but like Lost Boys, for example. Lost Boys has so many things to that film that everybody loves, and if we didn't do the long sleeve and slip, Tim Capello on there, Mr. Sexy Sax Man, like people were gonna lose their shit that we didn't incorporate him in any certain way. And we did a little bit, and we wanted to, but it was just like, I didn't want to throw that on the front of the design, for the main shirt too, because, in my opinion, it was already pretty busy. And so like, that's just an example of like at shows, people are like, oh man, where's that guy? And we're like, well, we got the long sleeve, we got another spot, we can add another print, but yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that's specific. Like Night of the Creeps, again, we only had one little hit on the long sleeve to add Tom Atkins' character. And that was another one that, that people were like, where is he? And we were like, oh, he's right here on the sleeve. And they're like, oh, I guess I'll buy the long sleeve, So we tried it. And if we don't do it on the shirt, like, a lot of times we try to throw in like fun freebies and stuff like that. So if we can't incorporate it in the actual t-shirt design, then we try to figure out like, how can we throw that in the packaging, so.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Like, one thing that makes you guys stand apart are the freebies. I mean, your Fright Night 2 shirt, which thank you for doing a Fright Night 2 shirt, but you also included Fright Night trading cards. Like, who else is doing that? That was just so cool. And like your Mandy shirt had fake tabs of acid included with it. It's like, this is awesome.
Yeah, the packaging is pretty next level. Like, it's again very unique. Like, not a lot of t-shirt companies do that. And you guys throw in pins and like the Fright Night like koozie or whatever. It's just like out of the box type of stuff that you wouldn't normally think to like buy or have, but the fact that it comes with the packaging, you're like, oh, this is really rad. Like, I'm going to use this.
And it's ambitious too, because I'm sure you guys had no idea how to make trading cards. So what was...
Oh, dude.
Did you just like Google how to make trading cards?
That is a journey, that's for sure. Figuring out how to make these things happen is...
What was
the phone conversations I have with Lance where I'm just like, I'm so sick of this shit. I can't figure out how to find this or buy that. And Lance is like, I believe in you.
What a supportive husband.
Yeah, because you had to design each card with every character and do the front and back. So Actually, I'm just really curious. What was that process like? Like just making trading cards?
That one was easy though, because I mean, like I have a background in working for brands and working in advertising, so like I have printer connections, so like that's like the easiest shit in the world. I'm just like, oh, okay, this is a whatever size by whatever size piece of paper. I just need to make a front and a back, and I got to figure out a way to find a cool packaging container. And we found metallic, thank God for Amazon, love it or hate it, but bought 100 metallic, baggies and made a sticker to put on top of that, and boom, you have a pack of trading cards. Like that's easy. When we did our Suspiria and Phenomena stuff, like we did, this wasn't a freebie, this was like a for sale item, but we did custom mounted like oddities, like butterflies, for Phenomena. And that shit was so hard to figure out, just sourcing the butterflies. Like I was calling oddity shops, and like there's one that I called or was emailing with, and they're like, we can't give you our vendor information. Like that would be kind of weird. And I was like, I totally understand. I was like, we are not an oddity company. Like we're just trying to make 20 of these things. We don't even need to know what your supplier is. We just need to know like areas to even start searching on Google, and they're just like, nah, fuck off. And I was just like, okay, sorry. But yeah, there's actually a store. The store that was the most helpful was this super rad shop in New York, actually, Doug, called Evolution. Have you ever checked that place out?
Evolution. It's like a trading card spot?
No. Focusing on the oddities, like we've. Yeah, they do like taxidermy skulls and stuff like that, and they're like a super high end, like museum quality, like framed specimens and stuff like that. And they're up in New York, kind of near Central Park area.
Ironically, kind of near where the Branford is.
Yes, yeah, they're pretty close. The Dakota, I think.
The Dakota, yes. I always forget the actual name of it. I always say the Branford.
But yeah, and they like. I left a message. They called me up and they're like, we'll tell you everything we know. And they're like, you picked a hard thing to source. And I was like, oh yeah, I've been running into.
Of course you did.
So it's like those kind of things are the hard ones. But yeah, the ones that are like the trading cards, I was like, oh yeah, that's easy to do. But yeah, we come up with a lot of dumb ideas that oftentimes don't come to fruition because we're like, oh, okay, this is going to cost too much money, but
any winning ideas that didn't make the cut? Like, oh, well, with this movie, we tried to do this.
I know there has to be, but now that you ask that,
I think we probably forgot it, and so we wouldn't be sad about it because we just give up on the ideas so that we don't regret it forever that we couldn't do it. But I'm sure there's stuff in there that was like that. But one of the coolest applications of like finding a vendor that wouldn't normally do what we're asking them to do was when we did the Fright Night shirts. We did the mini packs of vampire steaks, which were toothpicks. So, and those are mainly for like wedding events and things like that. So Steven sends out a full wrap graphic for the box with vampires on it for vampire steaks. So, just imagining these companies that don't normally deal with this kind of stuff, getting this new project, they're like, what the hell is happening? Who is this for?
It's still business though.
Yeah, that is one of the funniest parts is like dealing with these like tchotchke like promotional companies that make the cheapest shit, but we're like, this is funny, and then sending them weird graphics. The funniest part about the vampire steaks was I spelt steak wrong.
I forgot about that.
For the first round that we did it was just steaks like meat steaks.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that you bring that up. When I ordered the Fright Night shirt, I messaged you guys and I was like, I don't want to be this guy, but like just to let you guys, I don't know who answered me. I probably could find it on Instagram, but I'm like, steak is spelt like the meat steak.
Which is the funniest thing because it's very classic Steven for me to do. But
now it's kind of like a
I love it even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day that's going to be worth thousands of dollars. Hang on to those dogs. Yeah, hang on to it.
There's no way that's leaving my drawer. I still have them in my my kitchen drawer near the. I don't know because I don't drink, so I didn't have a need for the Fright Night koozie, but I think I gave it to someone who does drink.
You don't like
I know we do
LaCroix?
We honestly do a lot of koozies because they became just fun and easy to do. But like I do also. Oh yeah, it's got
that color scheme is out of this world.
Bah.
Yeah.
Alien koozie.
But yeah, it's funny. We've actually I always want especially when families come to our booths like at shows and like a kid buys the alien shirt and I'm like, here's a koozie, little dude. And they're like, okay. One of my favorites was, and it's just like things you never really think about. Like for Suspiria, we handed out peacock feathers.
I know what you're gonna say.
And so we're like, oh yeah, like there's the glass peacock that she stabs, the head witch with. We're like, this is gonna be sweet. Let's send a peacock feather to everybody. And we're at a show.
I still have mine.
Yeah, and we're at a show, and this guy was like, "Are these real peacock feathers?" And I was like, "I don't think so. I don't know." It was like, "Can you not touch my shirt with that?" And I was just like, "Oh,
wow.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. I'm sorry." And he was like, and then we had like a great conversation with this guy too. And he was just like, you got like, and then immediately when I busted out the peacock feather, it was like, I ruined it. I was like, oh no, whoops. Sorry. I didn't think that could, I don't know. It's so easy to offend everybody nowadays, but yep.
Yeah.
Don't give anybody a peacock feather. It's dangerous.
I still have mine somewhere. I mean, hey, throw it in the drawer full of kinky stuff, Have a little fun.
Yeah. It's a little tickler.
Oh, Phil, you dirty devil. Now, I did notice one thing, Steven, that you said before. Say that movie title again, with the one that starts with a P.
Phenomena?
Yeah.
Okay, so
how do you say? Because I was saying it wrong.
No, look,
the entire time.
Phenomena.
So the first time Doug ever watched that,
Phenomena.
the first time he ever watched it, he called me. He was like, "Yeah, I watched Phenomena last night." I'm like, would you go to fucking Argento's to get some pasta or something? Hey, welcome to Phenomenas.
Yeah, I went to Papa Vincent's. I ordered some fusilli and Phenomena, and it was a great time.
Oh my
but
God.
I've never heard someone say phenomena. I heard phenomena.
I say phenomena. It might be phenomena.
So,
It's definitely not Phenomena.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I say
Argento was
things
Italian.
wrong all the time, and Lance knows this. Like, I mean, yeah, I say like I say amphitheater, because it's like you amplify the sound. So amphitheater, why not?
That makes sense.
Yeah,
There's no
antenna, like your car antenna.
That's not the word.
Whatever.
That's fine. But
That's why you spelled steak wrong.
I mean, Doug did just say draw earlier. He's like, yeah, I got it in my draw. I'm like,
Oh yeah, I don't do the ER. I say
mean
draw.
drawer?
Like draw.
but hey,
Yeah,
whatever.
all of our friends, like when Trailer Park Bros was popular,
Trailer Park
Oh
Boys.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
like Ricky says shit wrong all the time. They're like, yep, you do that, Steven. And I was like, okay, cool.
But it's,
Like,
it's really charming. It's a charming characteristic.
Yeah.
It's good.
Like especially when I talk about movies and actors and anything, I always mix up names horribly. Like I'll say like I'll be talking about my love for, the Ernest franchise, but I'll call it like Forrest Gump Goes to Camp, stuff like that shit. Oh, hell yeah.
Got my Ernest Scared Stupid shirt on.
Such a
That
classic.
movie scared the shit out of me.
Dude, it is pretty terrifying.
There's some psychological twisted images in there that'll like really mess you up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I know there is some merchandise for that, but I feel like that movie is begging for a full line. So throwing out some ideas, fellas. Ernest Scared Stupid.
We're just gonna send people milk.
You can some meat.
I'm buying it.
Let's see how you like a little miak. So come on, eat miak and die.
Yak.
You can include cans of Trollaway spray.
And it's just milk in the bag. It's not in a container. It's just milk in.
Just send people
in the bag.
evaporated milk, like powdered milk.
If I don't get bagged milk when I order this shirt, I'm writing a terrible Yelp review.
This is exactly what our idea sessions sound like. Let's just send a milk in a bag.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
Exactly
yeah,
what
that's.
it's about.
I don't know specifically what, but there's been a lot of times where like, let's send like some kind of liquid or food. And like every time we're like, that's going to explode in the package and ruin somebody's order. So, nope, we're not doing that. So, yeah, I can't remember.
It wouldn't really, and it would like expire. You got to make sure it gets to the person in time.
Oh, yeah. And
Rotten milk to someone.
we accidentally send something to somebody that has a food allergy. You know, we're like, oh, whoops. Oh, well, I didn't mean to kill Timmy over there. Sorry. But
Famed horror t-shirt company murders 2. That would not be a good headline to see.
No. And especially since a lot of the extras are surprises. So you don't even know what you're getting when you buy it. So got to kind of be careful with that. But,
Yeah. The first time I ordered from you guys was the Fright Night long sleeve, and I was like, it's a must. This is my favorite movie, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I gotta get it. And I ordered it, so I was at the supermarket and I found like money on the floor, and I was like, all right, no one's around, so I'm just gonna take it. And then I ordered it with that money. And then
street money.
Yeah, good.
that's actually
was
how
dirty money.
social media, like our paid ads, that's how it works. Like money just drops in front of customers so they can buy our stuff. That's how Facebook ads work. Yep.
It's pretty interesting. We just put Phil just put like a boost behind our recent post of like the Maxine reaction or whatever. And
So far, I haven't noticed much of a difference. Enjoy the $30, Instagram.
Dude, have you noticed on Instagram now, if you do a boosted post, they have an Apple surcharge if you use your phone?
What?
how else would you do it? On a computer?
Because I definitely use my phone.
Really?
Yeah.
Just recently?
Like literally today.
And just boosted directly in Instagram?
Yeah.
That's so
It was
There's
like,
usually like a little blue like a blue highlighted area. It says like boost posts.
Yeah.
well,
So-
I've noticed that a lot of our recent posts, I'll check like the analytics of it, and it's like, oh, we put this in front of 200 people, and you have almost 5,000 followers. So it's like,
Oh, dude.
what the fuck?
we're in the, I mean, our social media is literally in the shitter with me right now. It is bad as far as the way that like the algorithm works. It's I mean, and we talked to all the other brands and they're all dealing with the same shit too.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a new thing now. And I mean, it's like, remember when like anything new that Instagram adds, like when they started adding
one
music,
asked for it.
like not everybody has it right away. Like it gets phased out in weird ways. So I'm assuming that's what this is. But yeah, I'm assuming you guys will probably notice it too, is if you use an iPhone to boost a post through Instagram, there is a 30% surcharge on that boosted post. So it was like an additional $40 straight to just Apple for no reason. But if you do it, if you just go on Instagram on your internet browser like a psychopath, you can do it that way and bypass the whole Apple thing. But then our post, our most recent one for an American Werewolf, like when we boosted that, I think we were supposed to get like 30,000 impressions. I don't know how any of this shit works, but after like 2 days, we had 0 clicks and it was like 2,000 impressions. You know, and we don't have a lot of followers, but we have like 13,500 followers. And I was just like, how does this shit not get seen? I don't know. It's weird. The whole, algorithm.
You think like the ratio between followers to likes, because when you are a small business, like you do rely on comments, likes, shares, all that stuff. So when you have like 13,000 followers and no one's seeing it, how is that? That's not even right. Like the whole reason you're posting is to get it seen, and the people who follow you want to see what you post.
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just
really,
all weird numbers and analytics.
The best thing that people can do that follow a podcast or a shirt company or just anybody you want to support is like sharing, commenting, because Instagram just they only see engagement. So if you have 20 comments and a lot of shares, and they're like, oh, this is an interesting post, let's boost it, more people see it. But it's kind of hard when they keep suppressing all your stuff.
Yeah, and you can also set notifications for certain pages that you want to see. So for us, like we post primarily when we're going to release a new drop. So it's not like random things coming in all the time. It's, when we're going to release something, that's when we'll post. So putting on notifications for a page like ours makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I mean, then that's probably the best way to make sure that you see when we're going to drop something, especially since when we release it, it's only up for a weekend. So if you miss it, it's going to be a while before you can grab it again.
Yeah.
Do you guys make a? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying. I feel like it's just because we started the middle of the pandemic, so we saw the insane boom of the way people shopped during that whole time. Not that we were killing it then, but it was just the nature of everybody was online all the time because they were home, they were bored. It's all you had to do to have any kind of serotonin boost was buying things, because you couldn't go outside, you couldn't go do shit. And so we saw that. And then after the pandemic, we knew okay, things are going to drop off a little bit, and they did. But yeah, I don't know. I just think, especially with our business model and the way a lot of the brands like us, it's all this every other week, we got a new drop. Everybody's got a drop. And I get why we have to do it that way, and why a lot of the brands have to do it that way. But I also think customers, and I'd be curious what you guys even think, it probably gets a little annoying after a while, because it kind of feels oh, I got to keep up with the next thing, or I got to, if I don't, I'm going to miss it. And I don't know. I don't want anybody to ever feel they're upset because they missed out on a product of ours. I wish we could be more normal brand where we're this is our spring collection, this is our summer collection, but at the same time we're not big enough, we're not able to have the capital to be we put out all this merch and hope that it sells, so the whole drop method is what we have to do. So
well, I guess you're talking about are you talking about competing against the behemoths of Fright Rags and all those guys?
Not even necessarily competing. It's just, I don't know. I think there's I feel there's a pressure, and maybe I just see it more as a business owner, but I feel there's this pressure to always be here's the drop. It's exclusive, and I see the way people interact, oh man, especially during COVID times, people are dude, I missed out on that. And I get it. That's hype. I mean, that's streetwear. That's fashion culture, fast culture, but I don't know. I just wish we could just be yeah, here's what we got. Enjoy it if you like it. And if not, then it's cool, but
yeah, in a way it's sort of like what me and Doug do, because it's me and him running this little podcast compared to every other celebrity that now has a podcast that has this production team behind them and they can just show up, record, peace out. Everything else is handled for them, social media, editing, YouTube, etc. But it's just us trying to keep this going. But they have this big engine behind them. So we're kind of, I wouldn't even say competing. I don't know if that's the right word, but I mean, yeah, it's kind of a similar thing. You're going up against these other people that have all these other resources. So I can see how that would be kind of frustrating.
Yeah, that's how smaller podcasts and smaller businesses get buried, because if everything gets oversaturated, just for example, podcasts, everyone can do a podcast. It doesn't matter if you're famous, not famous, you live out in the sticks, or if you're broadcasting from Antarctica. Anyone can have a podcast. And the more famous people do it, they have that backing, and that buries the smaller people.
Oh yeah.
And for the record, I mean, starting a podcast is fun. I always encourage people to do it, and I'm always willing to help out people that are just getting started. Like, I was literally talking today to Tapeheads United, which Doug will be on an episode soon, and
Love that dude.
I was like, dude, if you have any questions about editing, graphics, any of that shit, let me know. He sent me back like 5 questions. I sent him back an essay, like, here's what I do. So
A nice Excel spreadsheet.
yeah, so it's not like, oh, I don't want anybody else to succeed, but when every huge celebrity has a podcast, it's like, come on, Jeremy Piven, do you really need a podcast? Do we need this in the world? Okay, sure.
And also but also
no disrespect to Jeremy Piven.
yeah, solid name drop there. We don't need to hear more Entourage stories. We've had enough. But like, just from like a going back to the everyone has a podcast thing, like every single comedian seems like they have a podcast, but that also like drives ticket sales, so that makes sense for them to like have on other comedians and try to gain new fans from, for their comedy, and it totally shows like a new side of people. But like, there's some people that just don't, like, it's just, it feels like forced, like a cash grab almost, like extra revenue. Sort of like, might not be interesting, but like, they're famous, they have a name, they have a fan base, people will watch it, and it's frustrating.
So when is the Toxic Coffin podcast coming out? I guess that's the next question.
Right now, this is the soft launch.
We've talked about that back and forth, but I don't know. I think we just like going on other people's podcasts and hanging out and shooting it. It's adding another layer of all that background work that you're talking about that no one really sees, but is an integral part of making sure that it looks good, sounds good, and all that kind of stuff. It's just something we don't really fit into. We can't really fit into our lives at this point. But
I don't blame
I also think if Lance and I started a podcast, because we've known each other since we were like 14, 15 years old, it would just turn into us talking about like 1,000 inside jokes that nobody would understand. And it would just, I don't know.
Promoting is the hardest thing you could do with like anything: music, movies, podcasts, t-shirts. It's hard. And like you said before, Steven, like, you don't want to overwhelm people like by posting all the time, but how else do you promote? You have to get the word out somehow. It's a weird game.
I do see some t-shirt drops sometimes where I'm like, come on, like another Halloween collection. And hey, I love Halloween. Got a fucking tattoo of it on my arm, but
show it, pussy.
What else can you do with Halloween?
Sure.
That
it's tricky, and we've had to learn that lesson, the hard way too, because like there's a lot of times where we've wanted to put out like more like, obscure fringe films, and then we're like, we should do this, and then we're like, oh yeah, nobody's gonna buy that shit. Like we keep saying we really want to do a Lair of the White Worm design because we love that movie so much, and it's
one of my favorite movies. I love it so much.
So underappreciated.
So I read your question on an episode a couple back.
Did I put that as underrated?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I watched
you
it
did
that
talk
night,
about it.
and I couldn't get into it, man. I gave it not as much, but I was like, I mean, it does have some cool imagery that I could see making a pretty sick shirt design.
Sure. I mean, like I always loved the movie Altered States, and so I saw Lair of the White Worm later, and I loved all the bizarro surrealism in Altered States, and so like the fact that they added that to Lair of the White Worm, and then like Lance and I both love like folk horror and like anything that has like a cool, interesting lore to it. So there's something about that movie that just we're like, okay, but it's also like it's a comedy film. It's like a rom-com, in a weird way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I can totally understand not liking it, but if we did that shirt, we would sell like 5 of them. We'd have some people would be like, hell yeah. And then most everybody else would be like, okay. So
what's the thought process when you have when you're just brainstorming an idea, you're like, well, we could do Lair of the White Worm and possibly Strikeout, or we could do something safe that's already oversaturated, like Halloween or, Nightmare on Elm Street, whatever.
All the major franchises.
Right. So is there do you have to find a balance? Like, okay,
Yeah.
Lost Boys, yeah, it's mainstream, but it's also kind of cult. There's
Well, I can honestly say every shirt that we've put out, like film wise, are all movies we love. So that was kind of from the get go, and the point of what we're doing. We're just I don't want to release anything that we feel like we have to just from a sales perspective,
Sure.
I'm sure if we did a Scream shirt, it would crush. But I don't really have anything against Scream, but I also I don't care to make a Scream t-shirt, personally. And maybe one day we will, but because of that, we're not looking for that, cash grab out of it or whatever, or the popularity of, a film like that. So yeah, I mean, we definitely we'll pick a film that we're like, okay, this is a big one and it's one we love. We should probably do that. And if that's successful, then maybe we can do this one that's a little bit more obscure and sure, it probably will do pretty bad, but at least we're not too broke yet, so there is a little bit of roller coaster thought, let's throw out a heavy and then maybe we can throw out something that's, more obscure or just a cult classic B horror type stuff that will just be fun and, appease the people that like it for what it is, so, but yeah.
Yeah. Because there will be
films that are bucket list films, but we know are super protected or we just can't afford the license for it, so we're it'd be cool if we could do that, but we just have to say no. So
what were you saying, Doug?
I was saying what Steven was saying about the obscure films, because there is a demand for it somewhere, and it would be cool to kind of challenge yourselves and think of a design for something that really hasn't been necessarily done yet, or there hasn't been a lot of it, and there's demand for it somewhere, but you got to balance it out with I like how you guys don't go for the basic high demand stuff, the major franchises. You guys go for just for example, Fright Night and Rosemary's Baby and Mandy. Those are big movies, but they're still I wouldn't even say under the radar, but I don't know, for some reason, because all these other companies are doing 10 Friday the 13th shirts, Halloween, and all that stuff, that those movies are prime. They have such good imagery and they're really primed to have really great merch.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean that's why we gravitated towards them. I mean, ultimately, Fright Night is our friendship movie. I mean, that was one of the movies that really forged our scary movie best friends situation. And
hell yeah.
So that was, when we did it, we had no idea how much of a draw or how many other people felt the same way that we do about it, and until we put it out. And then that's been one of those have amazing conversations with people at shows or through direct message and that kind of thing, where people are telling us that this is one of their favorite movies and we get to tell our story about it. And the same thing with Night of the Comet. When we did Night of the Comet, that was just a movie that we loved and had such a good vibe to it and was really cool. And when we put it out, there was this huge swell of people coming out saying that they love this movie, they'd never seen anything for it, and such an awesome response. So that's why we've kind of just followed what movies do we love, and hopefully we can draw in those same people that love it too. And that's how we make our decisions, really.
And do you guys, you guys are obviously on Instagram. How much is it, obviously as movies you love, but how much is it of you seeing what other movies people talk about and seeing what other movies people post, and you're all right, a lot of people seem to be posting about this movie, maybe we could do something with that, because there seems to be a lot of love surrounding it.
Oh yeah, I mean we have to, as a company, we have to look at what is out in the market and what's trending. we've been lucky that like some of the stuff like Fright Night, or even when we did Lost Boys, like our Lost Boys drop was our best drop we ever did. And then it just happened to seem like after we did that, then like everybody started coming out with a whole bunch of Lost Boys stuff. Not saying that anybody was copying us. I don't think it was. I just think it was just like right time. Like it was the phase of it all getting reconnected to everybody, you know, through merchandise. But yeah, I mean, we have to look at that kind of stuff. I mean, when we first got started, it seemed like Midsummer was blowing up for merchandise, you know, and everybody was doing a Midsummer t-shirt. And we actually have one coming out this year, finally. But that's one that we've like held off for a long time because we're like, so many people have done Midsummer, and like, okay, well, how do we do it differently, or how do we, you know, add to it, but also like, how do we not just be, you know, noise in the, you know, the whole, you know, design world of it. So
that's your next drop, Midsummer?
I think it is, right? Isn't that the one we taught is technically on our schedule next for next month?
Yep.
Yeah, because we're trying to have that by Fear Fest. We haven't shared anything. It's the same artist that did our American Werewolf design. So if you saw that, it'll kind of have a similar vibe. It's definitely pretty different than what a lot of the other brands had been doing for it. So that's kind of what we were hoping for, was like, all right, how do we do this in a way that is kind of, you know, newer and fresher? It's kind of got more of like I don't know, I'd compare it to more of like the skate, surf, streetwear stuff that I'm mostly inspired by. So anyways, we'll see if people dig it.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I mean, as long as Florence Pugh's on there. I mean,
yeah, we got your girl. We got your girl.
It's just a toy machine logo and it says Midsummer.
Wow, that'd be sick. Wet Willie as like the World Industries Wet Willie dude as like the make queen.
So that was like the whole thing with our Alien Ripper t-shirt. You know, we knocked the 80s Bones Brigade, you know, Bones Ripper graphic, and I was so excited about that design. And then it was like, you know, I have to remind myself that like not everybody has as much of like skate history, you know, as I do as far as our followers go. And so we got like a couple of guys are like, hell yeah. And I was like, sweet, okay, where's everybody else? I
would imagine there's some good crossover.
Yeah, I
like
need this skate crossover. So
yeah.
But yeah, so it was fine. People like it. Luckily, it has like a stupid quote on the back of the shirt, and I feel like that sells the design more than the skate connection. But anyways, so
no, I appreciate good. God, I wish I had all my old skate merch and everything.
Hell yeah!
So I had some
CCS magazine used to come to my door all the time.
Oh, dude, that was Christmas right there. My mom's well, pick some stuff out of the magazine.
Dude, I tried so hard. I tried to convince my mom so hard to let us like build a half pipe in the backyard.
I had
because
one.
You had one?
Yeah, my grandpa built me one. It was
holy shit! No way.
Yeah,
that is so sick.
Your grandpa rips. So
of course, that would be some hick shit that you guys do.
We're sad.
Get the lumber.
My parents bought, and CCS used to be able to buy like from whatever the ramp company was, you could buy the plans.
Yes, that's what I fucking saw.
And they bought me mini ramp plans, and it came and it's just like pieces of paper, you know? And they're like, oh, we thought this was more. Like they legit thought this like $20 piece of paper was going to be a skateboard ramp. And I was like, yeah, so now we got to go get all this wood and shit. And they're like, oh, no, we're not.
Maybe in like 1602 it would cost that much.
Shit, my parents wouldn't even let me have a trampoline in the backyard. I had a neighbor that was giving away a trampoline, and they're like, we're going to get sued. And I was like, who's going to sue us? They're like, some kid's going to come out of nowhere, jump on our trampoline and break their neck, and we're sued. And I was
That's
like,
their problem.
I was like, yeah, exactly. I was like, they're like, nope, their parents are going to sue us. And that was the same thing with the mini ramp. They're like, we build that half pipe, going to get sued.
Did you guys have the black X Factor ramps that you got from like Toys R Us?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Those were
so much shit on that because I would build my own stuff, and but those plastic ramps, like the front edge of them would like warp and curl up. And so like, you know, when you're skateboarding and you hit a rock and you go flying, it was the same shit. Like I'd go mobbing into the ramp or it would just move and I would just explode, die. Those things were so dangerous and they'd crack and shit.
They're like just the cheapest plastic. I remember me and my sister had like, for some reason we were into rollerblading and we would like rollerblade off of the X Factor.
You were into rollerblading. We all grew up in the same era.
90s, baby.
Yeah, because we all watched Brink, and that just
Brink.
took everybody over.
I thought you were going to say Airborne.
Yeah, that too.
So it was my daughter's spring break last week, and I was like, all right, history lesson. And she's like, and I made her watch Airborne. I was like, nah,
Airborne,
rad. You're going to love it.
So sick.
You got that tape
She was like, I don't like this. And then like halfway into it, she's like, oh, okay, this is super rad.
Yeah, I scored it on VHS a couple of years ago. You guys should do an Airborne. There you go. There's your next line.
That's something that no one would buy except Phil.
Actually, Cody at Studio House, he did an Airborne drop.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah.
Would you guys ever consider doing a non-horror drop?
We have. So a couple of summers ago, we really wanted to do Harry and the Hendersons. And we just never did it. We've talked about it. Like Lance is dying for me to do a Fifth Element shirt.
Man, I do not like that movie. I don't get it.
I love it.
I haven't seen it.
It's one of my favorites.
I'm trying to think, what else have we teased? Like, I would love to do, because I adore Tim Robinson. Like, I really want to do like a Coffin Flop t-shirt and do some I Think You Should Leave shirts. That
would hit for sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
That would do really well.
But yeah, I don't know, for whatever reason, we haven't done anything as far as films go, we haven't done anything non-horror related. I don't know, because there's also a lot of cool, like, you know, I feel like similar brands that is their niche market, like doing like, you know, retro 90s films, like Tapes from the Crypt, like those guys, he does a ton of rad shit for that kind of stuff. And there's like Meth Syndicate and some of those brands, or Youth Energy or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I like how you guys have like a focus on horror.
It helps. But also part of that comes from, like, for me as a designer, like this. So this is like another reason why we started it, is like my whole background is in action sports or agency world stuff. And I just never, for whatever reason, I never even got to like do, because I listened to a lot of like metal and hardcore music and stuff like that, and never got to do like anything in that realm, or never got to do anything spooky. So like all of my design world is like, you know, make waves and make surf graphics and stuff like that, which I love. But also, you know, I love horror movies. So, you know, Toxic Coffin was like, all right, fucking, I'm going to be my own client. So
you get to flex the ghost muscle a little bit.
Yeah. And it was funny because when I started it, then it, you know, like people knew I liked Halloween and horror movies, but then now everybody like that I meet locally, they're like, oh yeah, you do the scary shit. And I'm like, oh yeah. Nobody would have ever said that before, you know? So, but yeah.
Right,
so if there's any clients out there that want me to make spooky stuff, I'll gladly do it. So
a complete turn. Lance, what is your background in?
I have a background in marketing. I managed a few companies when I first got out of college, and then I trained police and working dogs for a while, and then when my daughter was born, I stayed home with her, and so I've been hanging out with her, doing the stay-at-home dad life ever since they were born. And then during the pandemic, that's when Steven and I started this. So I was writing music and doing those kinds of projects just on my own, and then with Steven, and then we started the Toxic Coffin, and that's what I've been doing on the side after wrangling kids all day.
Yeah,
nice.
That must be rad to have like all that time to like focus on like Toxic Coffin. Like if there ever needs to like be something done, like you're there.
Yeah, when I'm not,
laptop.
driving kids to school or taking care of what they take a lot of time and focus. So you'd be surprised how hard it is to make a simple phone call when you have kids screaming the whole time. So
it's true.
Yeah, so a lot of the work that I do, like I handle all the shipping and everything. I handle all the thank you notes and packaging for all the orders. So all that work gets handled, after they go to sleep. So I'll be up doing that and packing orders and that kind of thing, late into the night, because that's the time I can focus on actually doing it. But yeah,
So
you'd think it would free up more time.
You guys keep all your merch on hand?
Yeah, everything that we've printed, I keep, and all of like the extras and things like that. Everything that we have is with me in one specific location, and then I handle all the shipping from where I am, because me and Steven now live on opposite sides of the states when we used to live 5 houses down from each other when we started Toxic Coffin.
Your wife must love that. You got all that merch in the house.
Well, it's actually, since we moved we're restoring my grandfather's farmhouse in outside of Charlotte. So there's not
keeping it with the chickens.
There's not space with in the chicken coop. But all my family is from here, so all of our merch is actually in my uncle's basement for the time being until we can get our build going where we want and have the garage space and that kind of stuff that we need, because right now the farmhouse doesn't have a garage or any extra area for that. So yeah, it's in my uncle's basement right now, and I'm thankful for him letting us keep it there because it's a lot of stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, works out.
Important question. Can you bring me some chicken eggs to Carolina Fear Fest?
I sure can. How many dozen do you want?
As many as you can handle. Just hook me up, dog.
Yeah, I can bring you. Yeah,
Are you just gonna rocky them, like just squeeze them in your fist and just drink them?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do. We have what's called a rainbow flock. So we have all the different color egg layers. So all the eggs are different colors, which is awesome.
Love that. LGBTQ representation.
Oh my god.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, but it's been really fun, like learning how to get chickens to cultivate eggs. So like right now we have 2 eggs that just hatched, and it's with a mom, and they'll have a mom that raises them and that kind of stuff. So it's cool for our kids to be able to see the life cycle, because chickens are a fragile bird. So they get to experience all that kind of stuff, and we want to have more animals and things like that as we grow. But yeah, it's been fun.
Nice. Yeah, I grew up with chickens. I kind of miss having them around. They're funny little creatures. They have little personalities and stuff. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, we had a scary incident last night where some type of predator got and we had an attack on the compound.
It was Doug.
Yeah, Doug came down.
I would never betray a chicken's trust like that.
Yeah,
or Lance's.
Luckily, we didn't lose anybody, but one did get a little hurt. So we had to do some chicken medicine last night, which was interesting.
It was a goddamn Chick-fil-A cows.
Those murderers.
Eat more chicken.
And Chick-fil-A also against LGBTQ people. So
yeah, fuck Chick-fil-A.
I think we have a hate crime on our hands.
Hey,
yep.
If only we had
full circle.
If only we could find the hoof prints and follow them back home.
Hey, you could sell eggs on the side at
we
conventions
do.
And stuff.
We sell them at my house.
Okay. So, I meant hey, Toxic Coffin. Also, you want some eggs?
That would be a lot to bring, but yeah.
Take a Fright Night shirt and some eggs. Here you go. Take a dozen.
Hell yeah, that'd be sick.
So
the funniest part is we all joke about how customers, I feel like, are never satisfied, one way or another with your product. You can never do enough. But Lance, even in the egg world, Lance was cracking me up the last time we hung out, and he's like, "Yeah, we're dealing with people not liking that we wash off the eggs, or the people that want us to leave the eggs as is or not. Isn't there a whole debate over that?
Well, it just depends on what you want, because when the egg comes out, it has a layer of bacteria that protects the egg, and so you don't have to refrigerate it, and it can last much longer just on the shelf. But when that happens, you're going to run the risk of having like poop on your eggshell because it comes out of the same hole. And
Cloaca.
So it comes out of the cloaca. And so you have that. You have some customers that want them to be unwashed because they last longer on the counter. And then you have customers that are, that want them to be washed and they have to go in the refrigerator and they don't last as long. And so it just depends.
I mean, it's just a little bit of chicken shit. Like, come on.
I mean, you're not eating that part
Don't
of
be a
it.
chicken shit. Eat the chicken shit. That's a great slogan for the business.
I mean, you can wash it off whenever you take it out of the carton. Just wash the chicken shit off. Wow, I didn't think we'd be talking about this on this episode, but I love this.
Hey,
you guys are pretty much all hillbillies, according to me.
Yeah,
I figured we were going to get into some farm talk.
We're a balanced duo. We have a
nice balanced breakfast.
Yeah, there you go.
I've been to New York once.
Were you upstate New York, which is pretty much like North Carolina?
Like 2 winters ago was my first trip ever. Even though I lived in Vermont, and, I drive past it all the time, visiting family and stuff. It was sick. It was tight.
What'd you think about it?
We had a classic, our first subway experience. My daughter was 9 or 8 at the time. And we're literally we're transferring onto the next train and we had to go up to the next platform level. And the homeless dude is just literally standing in the middle of the stairs, just pissing everywhere, dick out. And we're like, oh my gosh, shield your eyes, child. And she's like, what's happening?
Just let her see it because that'll be hard to ignore.
Yeah.
Dude, there's been times where
perfect,
Yeah. It happens no matter what, all the time, constantly.
Yeah. But it was cool.
There'll be people smoking crack on the subway steps.
Yeah, but I mean, not that. So Lance and I both went to college in Richmond, Virginia. So I mean, we lived in a downtownish area. I mean, it's nothing like New York. But so I mean, it was just cool to be in a city and explore a little bit. So it was fun. I mean, we did all the touristy shit. But I enjoyed.
Go to Times Square, see Hard Rock, Planet Hollywood, all that shit.
Yeah. Did that. Went to. I mean, it was pre-Christmas, so of course we had to go to Rockefeller, see the Christmas tree, see 500,000 people ice skating. There's absolutely no room to move. I was just like, why would anybody do that? But
they don't limit the people that go on there. They have a list of everything, but it's still it's so overly packed.
You just go push one person down and they all fall.
Yeah, they skate, you have to walk basically. You can't really skate. It's just kind of stomping around in skates.
Yeah. We did ice skating at what's it called? It's right behind the library, the big library there.
Oh, okay, near 34th Street and.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know where was it indoor ice skating rink?
There was a skate rink. I can't remember what it's called, but we did that. It was fine. It was fun. I just liked all the street food. That was my big thing.
Do you have one of the dirty water dogs?
What?
The dirty water dogs.
What is that?
They're the
just
hot dog carts on the street.
No, I didn't have any hot dogs.
The Limp Biscuits, dude.
Chocolate starfish out here?
You mean glizzies? That's what they call them.
We're not in Coney Island, all right? But yeah, glizzies also a term for hot dogs.
Yeah, but yeah, it was sick. I enjoyed it. I would like to go and explore more of New York. It'd be fun. Yeah, I really wanted to go to Brooklyn and go see the trauma office and shit like that. But my family wasn't really down for that. They're not.
I can't imagine your daughter would be like, yeah, trauma.
Yeah, you need to see the Toxic Avenger. He is kind of the coolest Marvel superhero. So,
I think your daughter would be into it if you're already showing her weird stuff.
Oh yeah, she's my spooky buddy for sure. She just watched Child's Play for the first time. She really liked that. She's seen Lost Boys, so she's 11 now.
That's awesome.
And she, loves Stranger Things. That's that's like huge for her.
Yeah.
Is constant, like always, which is cool because it's rad to see, even though we don't have like Blockbusters or anything or movie stores. Like, you know, we grew up, like, I don't know if it was, I'm assuming it was the same for you guys, but like I, as a kid, little kid, I would like sprint past the horror section, you know, when I was really scared of that shit. And then I'd make another pass, like slower. I'd be like, okay, it's fine. Nothing's going to hurt.
Yeah.
You know? And then I was so like obsessed with all of the cover art and just like, what is this?
Exactly.
Like Dead Alive, like terrorized me. The idea of that skeleton in the girl's mouth, or like there's the one Texas Chainsaw cover that had the I think it's like 3 or something, that had the lipstick with the saw blade.
Oh, the Next Generation, I think. That's the one with Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one, for whatever reason, that shit freaked me out. That kind of stuff. But like my daughter now, like when we first did the Fright Night shirt, you know, she's like, "What's this?" Because I love Fright Night, and I have it on VHS. I have it on, you know, probably multiple DVDs, like DVD, Blu-ray. I have like the You're So Cool Brewster documentary, which is incredible. But she's obsessed with Amy's character when she turns into the vampire and has the big like alligator mouth, you know?
Yeah.
She like, when she was probably like 7 and like knew what that movie was, but you know, can't watch that movie, she would straight up be like, "Dad, can you pull up an image of that? I really want it." Like, she's like, "I'm just really interested in that."
That's really cool.
Yeah, she like fully takes a deep dive into it instead of being like freaked out.
Yeah, but it also freaked out. But it's that same like weird like obsession. Like I can't stop looking at this.
Yeah,
you know, which is
the intrigue.
Yeah, so it's like we had the same thing, but we had it in Blockbuster form, but now they have it in Google, you know, images. But anyways, so.
No, that's awesome, man. Kind of similar story. My niece, who will be at Fear Fest again this year, she's like 16, 17, but she grew up to be a horror fan, and she came out last year, her first horror convention, and to see her stoked about the same things I grew up excited about, it's just really cool to have that connection.
Oh yeah.
So, shout out to Ava if you're listening. See you at Fear Fest.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, my daughter now, I don't even remember what the movie it was, but there was something we watched recently, and she even was like, "Gosh, that's so cheesy. Like, I wish they would have used practical effects." And I was like,
Yes.
You're like, I'm so proud.
"Ooh."
It's the new like home run in Little League. It's like, thank God she's on the right side of history.
Yeah, exactly. But
Well, because she even went to a practical effects camp, right, Steven?
Oh yeah, well, she did. Our like local. So in the summertime, like there's a whole bunch of like different summer camps for kids, and our local theater puts on a various different. Like they have like a props and set design like week or whatever, and one of them was a makeup camp, and so like part of that was doing like, she got like one day they did like old people makeup, like stage makeup. They got to create their own like monster or alien, you know, which was cool. Like they gave them like a sheet of paper that just had like a blank, you know, face, and then you had to design your own like makeup design, and they taught them how to like apply that and everything. And then one was just like gore makeup. And so she after that class, I come and pick her up, and she's got like a pencil sticking out of her head, and she's got like a slit wrist, which is hilarious for like a 10-year-old. You know, but I'm just like, hell yeah, okay. I was like, this is really cool.
That stuff kind of teaches her to like not be afraid of that stuff.
Oh, 100%. I mean, and that's, I mean, she's really sensitive to violence, which I'm like, man, I did not have that problem as a kid. I was like, I just want to see everybody get blown up, you know? Like, I was like, I mean, maybe it's just boys are raised differently. Cause like, I don't know, we played war and guns. Like my favorite thing to, like, my grandma would come visit and I had all my toy guns, and I would just shoot my grandma and be like, ha 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 ha. And she'd be like, I don't like this, you know? And, but yeah, so she's like like we were watching because she loves Millie Bobby Brown. We were watching like Enola Holmes, and there's like a scene where she hits this attacker over the head with like a club or something like that. And I don't know if she just knocks him out or kills him or something like that. And she like starts bawling, and she's like, it made a crunch sound. It like hates any kind of stabbing noises. And I'm like I can't show her Lord of the Rings without her freaking out over like sword battles, And I'm like, it's so weird. Like, this is awesome. But if it's like cartoony, like 80s campy over the top gore, she's like, oh, that's fun, that's hilarious.
Like the realistic stuff that people have a problem with.
Yeah, but showing her the behind the scenes, like, well, this is how they did it, definitely helped her, which is fun to watch, So
yeah, I'm trying to think of what's a scene where a sound effect is like the most memorable part of it. Like a kill or something. Like, oh, that sound.
I will tell you before I have to take Nellie to her mom real quick. She's coming upstairs.
Okay.
So I'll just be a second, but not a horror movie. Casino.
I knew you were going to say that.
We talk about it every time. In the end of Casino, where
when they beat the shit out of Joe Pesci.
They're burying his brother alive, and they get beat to death with bats. Whew.
Oh yeah,
it's just like the ting.
Guys, tough guy, you and your fucking brother, your fucking scumbag. No more. No more. You see? What?
I want to say, I can't remember if there's a particular sound, but I feel like maybe it's just the thought of it. But like in American History X, the whole curb stomp scene, like, isn't there like teeth breaking sounds that are just like, ugh?
Well, before the curb stomp, like when he puts his mouth on
that's it. 100%. Yeah, the teeth to the cement. Oh, no, thank you. That's worse than the actual, incident itself.
Yeah, I don't think I could think of a more awful one than that. Yeah, that's a pretty good one, Steven. That one gives me creeps.
Yeah, that's a great movie, but holy shit, what a heavy watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
1,000%. No, there's definitely others. Of course, just trying to think about it on the spot. I can't remember what the sound is for it, but like all I can think of is like the eyeball scene in Zombie, but it's just like, maybe it's just so slow, but like some of those old Italian 70s films, I feel like they did such a good job of just like adding that extra like squish sound factor. To make it seem like that much more disgusting.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the window crash scene in Suspiria when she comes crashing through, and like that's like that crash, and then when she hits catches the noose at the end, like that feels very auditory to me.
But that even compounded with the Goblin score, like there's so much going on that it's just like, whoa, what the fuck? It's pretty intense.
What do you guys think about the remake of Suspiria?
Oh, we love it. Yeah. We think it's good. I mean, it's my favorite movie of all time. Like I have, you can't see it on the camera. Like I have, oh gosh, how does this work? Anyways, it doesn't matter. I have a Suspiria tattoo, essentially. I was just happy that they went with like a different direction, like they didn't try to make it feel like an Argento film,
Right.
But it was good.
I mean, the remake is good, but man, just the lighting of the first one, just can taste that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, but if they tried to do the lighting like that, like you couldn't do that. Like,
sure.
And that's what I was so afraid of. I was like, they're just going to digitally throw like red on the camera, or they're going to, use a gel or whatever, and it's going to not feel as genuine, So I appreciated that they left that alone. I mean, in a perfect world, and I mean, it's the argument I feel like for all the, reboots. Like, I wish they took Suspiria, the remake, and, just made it inspired by Suspiria. Don't use the title, but of course they're going to do it because, attaching the name drives the sales and, but yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, one of the things that I loved about the new one that kind of set it apart in a way for me is how they incorporated the reason why it was in a dance studio. Like, they incorporated like the dancing and the ritualism of what they were doing in the actual studio into the coven part of it. I thought that was really interesting and really cool, and something that I liked that was it wasn't really delved into in Argento's. It might not have even been important, but I'm glad that they added that element to the new one. So it gave it its own layer that wasn't in the original, that I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, 'cause the choreography itself was like cool and weird, and
yeah, talking about sounds, like that scene in the remake when her body's just contorting and bones are breaking. I was like, ooh, just the fucking crack of those bones.
That was a sound that I was trying to think of. Like, what movie has like a crazy break? Like,
yeah, it's usually a snapping of the bone that really gets you.
I'm trying to think. I know there's something. I'm thinking of like some survival movie or whatever, where I'm like, whether it's, what was that movie with was it Shia LaBeouf, or who was the movie, or James Franco, where he's like trapped in the
28 days,
127 hours or something.
Oh, 127. 28 days later. Yeah.
And there was the scene where he was having to cut off his leg, and like when he was getting to the tendon, they did like an electric like buzzing sound or whatever. And I was like, no.
Yeah. Hey, do you guys want to run through the list of FearFest guests? Just kind of want to get your take on some of these. Anybody that you're excited to meet, etc. Are you guys like big autograph guys? Do you ever get those?
Not really. I mean, it's not something that, I mean, I love being in the room with them and like seeing them as, as a real person, and that's really fun. And like, we met Tom Atkins, we met Barbara Crampton, and took pictures with them, and really stoked to meet them. But just being able to sit across from some of them has been really fun. But it's not something that we like go to the conventions to do specifically at all. But for this one, we're really excited to meet Kelly Maroney, because when we released our Night of the Comet stuff, she found us on Facebook and hit us up, and she was so excited about the shirts. And then when we sent her the shirts, and she was, she's trying to pay for everything, and like, no, please just let us send you whatever you want, because like, you're on the shirt. This is nice. This is for you. And so we sent her the shirt with the comet dust that comes with it. It's like a little bag of orange salmon looking sand, and she got it, and she was so excited because she had been trying to get everyone to have the sand at conventions as like a prop joke, like we were talking about. And so she was hyped that we did it, and she was very excited about everything. And so it's going to be really cool to get to meet her in person and talk to her, because that was the second shirt we ever did, right, Steven? Isn't that the second design we did? And so it was, right from the beginning, we had this really amazing interaction with, the people that were in the movies, and kind of validating like, this is something cool that we're doing, and that they appreciate it too, which was really nice. So stoked to meet her.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Yeah, she even I think messaged us on Facebook. It was like, said something like, "You guys are in North Carolina. I hope you're going to be here." And we're like, "Oh, we're there," and she's excited. So hopefully we'll get to like actually like talk to her for a little bit. And the other thing too that's kind of funny, because I've as we follow all the various different like actors and actresses that are in these films, in Night of the Comet, the other main actress, Catherine Mary Stewart, she comes and vacations on the Outer Banks all the time. Like she comes and stays in Duck, and it's so funny because I see her posting like on her Instagram stories, and I'm like, this is weird because this is my hometown. This is where I live, you know? And I want to be like, can I give you some comet dust? But also I'm like, you're on vacation. I don't want to bother you. You know, like,
Doug, have you seen Night of the Comet? I've only seen it once, and I really enjoyed it.
I have seen it, and I can tell you exactly when I saw it. It was January 22nd, 2020. And I was dying of the flu or COVID because that was like 2 months before it. So it could have been that. And I put it on as I was dying, and it was great.
I love how every time I ask if you've seen something, you're like, not only have I seen it, I'm going to tell you everything that led up to me seeing it. You're like, it was a cold day. It was around 2 p.m.
I had no pants on.
I definitely didn't have, I had a 105-degree fever. I can tell you that much.
Nice. Yeah, I got to rewatch it. But yeah, I mean,
time.
We got Bill Moseley. I met him back in 2007 at a horror hound convention.
yeah, he's another one we're dying to meet because we did that Chop Top shirt, and
Oh yeah,
and there's been a ton of people that have like tagged him in that, and like we've met people at different conventions. Like I wore my Chop Chop shirt when I met him, and he was like, "Oh, cool shirt," you know. And so I'm like, I'm just waiting to finally meet him and be like, "Oh, you guys made this shirt with my character on it," you know. Which seems like he's cool with it, but yeah, he seems like a rad guy. I can't wait to meet him. So
Yeah, he's very cool.
I might have to meet Heather Langenkamp. I mean,
She's my big one. Every time I wanted to meet Heather Langenkamp, either I wasn't at the convention or she just wasn't booked, and she is my like favorite final gal.
hell yeah. Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think she's probably my favorite final girl as well.
Mm-hmm.
Either her or Nev.
See, oh yeah, I don't. I feel like I always upset people when I'm like, I don't care about Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, but I also don't. I mean, like Halloween's fine, but everybody's like, oh yeah, she's the GOAT, and I'm like, meh. I'm like,
I mean, she is one of the most legendary final girls. If we're talking favorites, which is all subjective, she would be a little lower on my personal list.
it might be sort of controversial to say, but I've always thought that Donald Pleasance was more integral to that Halloween series than Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, she's good in Halloween, but would Halloween be what it is if it happened to be another actress? Probably.
yeah,
Yeah, good point. I mean, Donald Pleasance makes the Halloween. Like, I feel like his conviction and like he makes you believe what's going on because he's such like a seasoned actor and he's just so good that you're like, shit, this dude seriously is the embodiment of pure evil, and I just believe every word he says.
Doug, we got to meet. We got to meet this guy, Lachlan Monroe from Scary Movie. Where's
you mean Bobby has a baby dick too?
What? Yeah, what was he in Scary Movie? I don't remember him in that.
Where's the foot? He's dating Shannon Elizabeth's character.
Oh my God, we hit a boat! Where's the foot?
I don't know if you guys are as excited as I am, but I just want to meet Tom Arnold so I can talk to him about working with DMX in Exit Wounds and Cradle to the Grave, because those are the best buddy comedy, or not comedy, but buddy action movies that I've ever seen. I love those movies so much. You know,
And they did list Exit Wounds on Tom Arnold's repertoire here.
I can't believe Cradle to the Grave didn't make it. I mean, Jet Li and DMX is just a power combo.
What a wild! Imagine being that casting director, like looking at that sheet, being like DMX and Jet Li.
Yeah, and at the time when they came out, I was like, of course DMX is in this movie. He's badass. And then now you look back on it, I was like, that is crazy.
Yo,
This is
DMX
wild.
Great Depression. That album is pure heat.
Oh, dude, it's so good. I love DMX. But yeah, I want to talk to Tom about DMX.
Hell yeah.
I also really like Alexandra Esso because I love that movie Starry Eyes.
I never saw that movie. I always wanted to. It's been on my list.
Yeah, I love that movie. And then I'm a huge fan of most of the like Midnight Mass and Follow the House of Usher and that kind of thing, and she does such a good job in those shows.
Oh yeah.
And she did a killer Shelley Duvall in the Dr. Sleep. You know,
Yes,
Dr. Sleep. Great fucking movie.
That movie is so good. We were blown away by that movie when we saw it. It was so good.
Tell that to Phil. Where's my thoughts?
I'm just gonna.
Okay. You don't have to like it.
It's all right.
hey, there's plenty of films we'll all disagree on.
Yeah, but no, I was just super pleasantly surprised by that movie when we saw it. No expectation going in, but just loved it coming out.
Yeah. It was the whole Rose the Hat stuff and the way she's like gliding through the air. The whole Mike Flanagan is just another shut the fuck up, Phil.
Oh yeah, man. When she said, "Well, hi there," 1,000 times, that was sick.
That's her signature.
So cool.
And she had a hat.
Yeah, Rose the Hat.
She sure did.
Well, hi there. Well, hi there. Well, hi there, sleepyhead. Well, hi there. Well, hi there. Well, hi there. Hi there.
Did it?
Kind of like she was doing a little bit of like Fred Astaire moves with the hat.
Looking like the singer of Four Non-Blondes.
I thought you were going with Lou Bega, Mambo Number 5, but
Dude.
you're also good comparison.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to meet David Arquette?
I mean, it'd be cool. That's a funny thing. Again, back to the like, I like meeting some of these if I feel like I know what to say, you know?
Sure.
But for the most part, I'm just like, oh, hey.
Oh, you were awesome in Scream.
That's why
when Lance and I, we played in a band in high school and in college and stuff like that. And every once in a while we would get to play a bill with like a band we really looked up to, you know? And I would, every time when I'd meet like the guitarist, I'd be like, I love you. And they'd be like, why? And I'd be like, so then now I just feel stupid. I'm like, I'm just going to be like, I love you in this. And they're going to be like, okay, thank you. You know, I don't know. I feel like actresses are a little bit better than musicians. Musicians are so like, you know, they're too cool. But
yeah, he just ruined celebrity encounters for you.
I kind of want to meet David Arquette just to get him to sign this. This is from Airheads.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I got like a press kit for it. So it's got all these high quality photos and stuff in it. It's pretty
Cool.
sick.
That's awesome.
Did you find that at the thrift?
I got it off eBay a while back, but yeah, it's got like a ton of different photos in it.
Yeah, I love that movie too. That
Oh
movie.
god. Yeah.
Underrated Adam Sandler role. Steve Buscemi is killer. Brendan Fraser. I mean, legendary.
So good. I think we watched it in we were at a convention and watched it in the hotel, like after the show, and just watched the whole thing because it's so good.
It's a good hotel movie.
That's like another way we've done shirts is like our like travels and just like friend trips and stuff like that. Like we did Brain Scan because Lance and I both had slipped on that movie. And our homie Tim, who does a podcast called Horror Flicks and Guitar Picks.
Oh yeah, I just followed him the other day.
Yeah, he's the man. And
super great dude.
That dude has like his vault of horror knowledge is insane. I do like a horror trivia in Virginia Beach with him, and he'll forever be like, "Oh, this is an easy question." I'm like, dude, like I feel like I know a lot. And I was like, people aren't going to know this shit. Yeah, he's super smart. But yeah, he was like, yeah, this movie's tight. And I was like, yeah, I never seen it. But then I also had a funny experience with that too, because I ate the biggest edible of my entire life. And it just made the movie that much more insane. But anyways, so then I finally rewatched it so I could see it from a clear perspective. But yeah, that movie, we were like, this is crazy.
That's the one with Edward Furlong, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been telling Doug forever, like, I want to see this fucking movie. I tried searching for it a while back, couldn't find it anywhere, but I'm on a mission to see it.
It's like, I blame like that, like late 90s, early 2000s, like when they started making DVDs of shit, and then they used like terrible, like cheesy cover art that's like, this looks bad, you know? So I just the cover art looks like Mortal Kombat CGI graphic on the front. Like it's
it's pretty tough. So it's hard to see the awesomeness in just the cover, but that movie is great.
Well, and the soundtrack for that movie is insane too.
Yeah,
like 90s, like the amount of rad shit that's in that. Like I think it's like, what is it? Oh gosh,
Where they got like Bush and like Hole.
They got like Machine Head or something like that.
Metal soundtrack.
Okay. Yeah, it's
really
like
good.
To it. It's
Nice.
It's really good. Definitely recommend watching it. And it's before Edward Furlong went down a weird rabbit hole of gross, but
Yeah.
He only has a couple movies under his belt that's pretty good. Other than that, I think he could have been a really, really good actor if he got, beat his demons a little more. Because American History X was, his performance in that is insane, and like that whole movie's insane. And then
we literally, when you walked out, we were just talking about that. So that's hilarious that it's come back.
Oh, about the scenes that kind of make you like squirm in your seat.
Yeah.
We were talking about the sound of the teeth going to the concrete,
Yeah, that whole movie is like a squirm session, like everything about it, but it's very, very interesting that people are actually like that. And at the end of the movie, you realize when you behave like that, karma comes back around.
Dude, that's why I'm so excited for Alex Garland's Civil War.
I am so hyped for that movie.
Oh yeah, I love Ex Machina. That's one of my favorite sci-fi movies.
Yeah, it's really good.
Probably ever.
But
yeah, I'm really interested about Civil War. It looks really, really good.
Yeah, great cast too. Jesse Plemons, Kirsten Dunst, and the story looks very as like ridiculous as it is, like Texas and California joining forces. And I think it's just like anything goes in this movie. And like the scary part, like it's not a horror movie, but like the part in the trailer where Jesse Plemons asks the kid, like, what kind of American are you? Like you don't know what's going to happen in that scene. That is absolutely terrifying because like we're all supposed to be together and the division is just so clear. It looks super good. Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a window into a parallel dimension or like near future type thing, which is really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that's Alex Garland's jam. I just watched his mini series that he did like a couple years ago called Devs. Did any of y'all watch that?
I heard that show is really, really interesting.
It's very good. It's like San Francisco future tech kind of world. This tech company that is like developed like quantum AI technology, and the implications of that and what it could do to the world and society and theology and stuff like that. It's super, super fascinating. I mean, it's like kind of a bit of a slow burn as far as like the episodes go, but it's like a thriller. But it's really good. And it's Nick Offerman plays the leader of the tech company. And he does, in the same way, I don't know if you saw the Last of Us episode with Nick Offerman where you're like, holy shit, dude. It's like him at that level, and it's like, damn, it's really good.
He's in, I think he's playing the president in Civil War.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is.
No way.
Well, it looks like he is at least.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Oh
yeah, he's really. It's really funny how like these comedians. I mean, obviously you're acting, but like these comedic actors can be so good in dramatic roles because, like, comedians have like that dark inner turmoil, because I feel like a lot of funny people are just, naturally depressed and find the laughter somewhere in there that kind of helps them cope, and they could just channel that into serious roles, and Nick Offerman is one of them. He's hilarious, and that, like you said, that Last of Us episode, goddamn, that is
so good.
I gotta watch level. That.
Yeah, dude, I've been telling you to watch The Last of Us too.
Yeah. It's Lance and I talk about that a lot with like comedians or like comedians that direct horror. With like Jordan Peele and everything. Just the idea that like comedians understand timing really, really well. And they know how to like, like have the right release at the right time, and so I think that makes sense why horror works really well for them. So
that's a really, really good point of view. A lot is based on timing, and a lot of these movies are so like cut together so fast and rushed that like they don't let you just like live in there, and that just doesn't really create like a good atmosphere. But Jordan Peele does it really well. I think I just saw the first Omen. Did you guys see that yet?
Dude, I haven't had a chance to like check any of the like new stuff. I don't even know if I mean, I live in a small town. We have a theater that has 10 rooms, and I'm lucky if we get most horror movies, but like we didn't get Immaculate, we didn't get Late Night with the Devil.
Oh wow!
I think they got the first Omen, and that was kind of like lower on my list. But I've been hearing like pretty positive reviews for it. Actually,
it's really good. I told Phil to go see it. I think it is very much a worthy sequel. Prequel that holds up to like the original Omen. Like it's actually really good. Like the way it was marketed, I don't think gives it enough credit to how good it actually is.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Because I think like you said, with the way it was marketed, it felt very like, I don't know,
generic.
Like it's just a scary movie. Yeah.
But also, how could we not feel let down after like The Exorcist, and all that bullshit? So
that's just a big pile of trash.
I didn't think it was as bad as people wanted it to be. I was expecting a dumpster fire, and I was like, I mean, this isn't amazing, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
It was just
really
unnecessary.
Hard to see anything new with a fresh perspective. I mean, that is a very fair point. I find myself like, because I'm on the worst is like some of the Facebook groups that I'm on, like horror Facebook groups, and holy shit, like the opinions of that are just so bonkers. And there's 100%. There's been times where I've had to be like honest with myself, like, am I just letting like the masses tell me what I need to feel about this?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's why it's always good to go into a movie, despite what other people say, and listening to reviews and reading what other people's personal opinions are. I feel like in order to talk about a movie or anything accurately, you got to go see it yourself.
Yeah.
That's the only way you'll know it, because you see the scenes in and out. You're there. You're relying on your own perspective rather than taking someone else's word for it, which other people might not have your taste.
100%.
So, which movies are you guys most excited about this year? Anything you're like, holy shit, I can't wait to see that? 'Cause there's a lot of good stuff coming out soon.
There's a lot.
Long Legs.
Long Legs looks rad. Is it Cuckoo?
Cuckoo with Hunter Schafer.
That one looks really interesting.
Nosferatu.
Yeah,
Robert Eggers' next movie.
Cool. That'll be rad. I don't know if it's supposed to come out this year or not, but I can't wait to see the Toxic Avenger remake. Is that supposed to come out this year?
I don't think there's a release date yet.
That was supposed to come out like last year. We had the opportunity to see it in California, like early
in September.
Well, yeah, September.
You saw a screener of it?
We didn't go. We were way too tired, so we skipped it. But we know someone who did go.
You're busy hanging out with John Carpenter.
Hey, we're longtime friends. We were catching up. I call him Johnny.
That's Uncle.
No, that was a very brief encounter.
Yeah,
our souls temporarily left our body. I was like,
now I gotta look. What is coming out?
I mean, it's done. It's been like making the rounds at festivals. It was part of Fantastic Fest and other stuff. So I don't know what they're waiting for. Who knows? Maybe it's just hard to get on the calendar where there's not like a Marvel movie coming out that weekend or like a DC project or something big.
Sure.
Have you guys seen much about I Saw the TV Glow?
Yes, that's another one that I forgot to mention to you, Phil. Yeah, that one looks really good with the
looks incredible
from Atypical. I forgot her name.
Oh yeah, of course. Maxine's probably like one of the bigger ones for sure.
Are you guys Terrifier fans?
I don't care. I don't hate it. Like, I feel like it's such a divisive film. It doesn't really do anything for me. I enjoy watching it in the sense of like, I want to see like the kills, you know, it's become that kind of movie for me. But like the new one, I was so annoyed with all the like magic and like that element to it. I was like, why does she have powers? Like, I didn't like that. I don't know. It just was like too much. And I'm like, just let him kill everybody. I don't care. I don't know.
Maybe it was a metaphor.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I thought the second one was funnier. I liked all the like stark, like him wearing the stupid daffodil sunglasses, you know, like hilarious, like stalking this girl in the Halloween store. Yeah, it's funny. Or when he's in the laundromat, like I thought that scene was hilarious too. But also I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just curious to know what I did read that, because a Christmas one is the next one.
Yeah.
And then the guy that plays Art the Clown said like classic movie hype, but he was like, this scene that we've just filmed is, I don't know, have you seen that? He like went on an interview saying like, this is the craziest shit that we've ever done. And I'm like, okay, I want to know.
If you're gonna keep making movies, you have to up the ante in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it from Terrifier 1 to Terrifier 2. So Terrifier 3, I feel like if anyone can do it, it's that team, because they go so hard for prosthetics and gore, and you can't say the kills aren't creative, even if you're not a fan of Art the Clown and Terrifier.
I mean, I was dying when he was stuffing mashed potatoes into the blown-in face of the dad or whatever,
the mother or something.
Yeah. I was just like, oh my god,
and with a chef hat on or something. I feel like he already had an apron on.
So I can't fault it for that. But at the same time, does that movie hold any weight that like another horror movie is going to have? Where I'm like, okay, well, this story was really cool, but yeah, sometimes you just want to see people die. So yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, I'm with you on the Terrifier thing with that. Like, that's just a turn your brain off murder just gore fest.
Yeah. I like it better than I like the Saw movies, which is, you could argue, is kind of the same thing, you know? Something about this. Lance loves to say the Saw movies are just way too brown. Like everything just looks like green and brown and has like a weird tint to it all. But,
you're right. It's like diarrhea lens.
Yeah. We dropped the camera in the store and we never cleaned it off.
It's filthy. It just looks dirty.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty excited to see Beetlejuice. I mean, I'm sure I'll be disappointed in some regard, but I also, just let it be what it is.
I was talking, me and Doug were talking about it recently, and I was like, I don't get why filmmakers can't just use the same equipment that they used in 1988 to get that kind of grainy aesthetic to it. Because all the footage I saw, things look too sharp.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
It makes it look unrealistic.
Yeah. If Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, classic Steven. If Quentin Tarantino can do it with like The Hateful Eight and shoot on 35 millimeter or whatever, like they can shoot on film, but I mean, they're not gonna, because it's gonna be cheaper and more practical, I guess.
Yeah.
You know? So,
I mean, I'm sorry to keep going back to The First Omen, but that film is grainy. There were some 35 mil showings of The First Omen. I don't want to say that they filmed it in 35 mil, but they might have. I mean, I was really impressed with like how it looked, because I was like, this shit looks from 1971, where the movie kind of takes place.
Well, I mean, that's like Ty West. That was like the biggest thing with House of the Devil. Is like, when I first put on, I was like, wait a second, like, is this an old movie? Like, I was like, no, this is new. And I'm like, but it looks so perfectly 80s. You know what I mean? And so it goes back to kind of like sort of, and I don't think he'll mess it up with Maxine, but again, like with the 80s films in general, it's so easy. Like throw a neon hue on top of this and throw some like digital like grain or digital film scratches, and you know, like I don't know, it was kind of fun during like the Grindhouse era with like Robert Rodriguez and like Planet Terror and like Machete, you know, like because we didn't have a lot of movies doing those over the top like digital effects to make it look super cheesy, you know, old. But now, like, I don't know, I feel like if I watched some of the Planet Terror stuff, I'd be like, this looks bad, you know, I don't know. But it's probably still super fun.
It was a little overused in like Death Proof.
I did
all the film burns and stuff like that. Yeah,
I did rewatch Planet Terror pretty recently, and I was like, this kind of looks like an iMovie filter.
Totally.
Like
sepia tone.
Yeah.
Although it's funny, I mean, Danny Boyle, incredible director. You go and rewatch 28 Days Later. Like when we did that design, you know, because we'll pull like image stills to use like in the design and stuff like that. Hardest shit movie to do because it was all shot on SD, you know, before, you know, because he wanted it to have like a, you know, amateur college film look to it. So there, I mean, it's the reason why we don't have a Blu-ray of that movie, because you can't, because it was shot on Handycam essentially, you know. But yeah, so that's another one where you're like, man, I kind of wish the film quality was better on this. But
yeah, maybe they could figure out a way to like remaster it just a little bit, just to put it out, especially with the new 28 Days Later movie that they're planning on coming out with.
Yeah,
that would be nice to do like a anniversary release.
Yeah, there's something else. Like I get really bummed out. Like it was like the Fear Street trilogy. Like everybody was like hyping that up, and it was fine. I didn't, you know, but like all these like 90s throwbacks, I'm like, nothing about this feels 90s. Like, okay, you used a Alanis Morissette song in this. Like, good job. You know,
and everybody's wearing a flannel shirt. Yeah.
The grunge era, like the Jinkos on.
But it's not even, it's a flannel shirt, but it's like a modern cut flannel shirt, because it like they didn't even go actually like find an old school Wrangler flannel t-shirt or a Lee, you know, like nobody's wearing Lee pipes or anything, you know, like what the hell? Come on.
That's what I'm talking about. Lee pipes.
No, there's not a single tech deck in any of these movies, and I'm so disappointed. Not a single pong.
Where's the fun dip?
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
Show me those Osiris D3s. Where you at?
Where's the baby bottle pop? I need some real 90s action.
Gonna bop it in there.
Imagine a horror villain with Osiris D3s on.
The final scene will end at a Hole concert.
But yeah, but like all these like 90s throwbacks, like again, it's the way that it's filmed. I'm like, it doesn't look 90s to me. I don't know. It like go watch the movie Kids, you know, and make it look like that. It was the same thing with was it the Midnight Society? Mike Flanagan's Midnight Society?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was
only one I didn't watch of his.
It was fine. I think it's his weakest of the recent, like, you know, but yeah, again, just like, but I fault it to the way that what it's shot on, you know, something about it just looks sharper than it needs to be. But
did you guys see the trailer for In a Violent Nature?
Yeah, that looks pretty interesting too. Just looks like a mean ass slasher.
Yeah, like talk about capturing the aesthetic of an 80s slasher. I mean, I don't have to play the audio of this, but I mean, this kind of looks like the slasher we've been waiting for.
Sure.
Like, just give me this.
I'm curious about the perspective, because the way the trailer is, it's like third person perspective, like a video game almost.
It's being shot from the killer's perspective.
Yeah.
I understand.
But yeah, I'm really stoked for this.
It has like Zodiac energy, Friday the 13th, Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely get the Town of the Dreaded Sundown vibes for sure.
Yeah, and like just the woods just have like a spook. It's the perfect location for a slasher. I mean, because you never know where the people are. You never know where the person is that's gonna pop out of nowhere.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm so stoked for that.
Also, have you guys watched the Alien trailer? The new Alien, Fede Alvarez or whatever?
I did, yeah.
That looks like it's going to be a ripper as well. Like I'm pretty excited. It looks like it makes sense, but it looks like he upped the like horror aspect of it.
Yeah, the look of it is great. I like Kaylee Spaney, whatever her name is, who played Priscilla. I think she's just a likable person. So like it's cool to like see her in the lead. The only gripe that I have is that the little face huggers coming out like that looks like the little Cloverfield monsters that like fall off of Cloverfield, and I'm like, I get the face hugger thing. Like we've all seen Alien, but like they're running so fucking fast. Like the infected in 28 days later. I'm like, all right. Like,
Lance and I talk about this a lot when it comes to any kind of like creature, monster, sci-fi film. We always say like, oh, okay, so is this alien creature going to be some kind of like gray, brown, insect-inspired looking creature that makes clicking noises, like, which is fine. Like Cloverfield was sick. Like when I remember when that came, I was like, okay, tight. I haven't seen a monster movie like this in a long time. But goddamn, that movie came out like 2008 or something like that, and it's 2024, and all of the monsters. I mean, I love Stranger Things; it's my favorite show. But I mean, Demogorgon is very Cloverfield monster to me. So
yeah, they're all kind of derivative of each other. Cloverfield kind of reinvented that wheel a little bit, and Alien gets a pass because like it created the alien, like the modern day like horror alien, like they're on the forefront of that. But yeah, there hasn't been a lot of just like good monster movies.
Yeah,
I feel like Cloverfield was one that we all mentioned. I don't know if you guys saw Super 8, but that was kind of fun.
But it had that same gray alien thing. So I'm like, when you're looking at Alien, you have H.R. Giger with this singular vision of what this mechanical looking creature that has this whole mythos for and a whole world built around, and it just doesn't seem like the same thought is being put into any new creature that we're seeing. And I'm dying for it. I need something that has a whole world like built around it, because that singular vision is so hard to find nowadays, where you're trying to get something, I don't know, something innovative, something new and interesting is what we talk about a lot, because
but I also
we're dying for that thing.
I think the way movies cater to like current generations, like if my daughter saw half of the creature films from the 80s, she would just be like laughing her ass off. Like what the hell is that shit? Like but I want more people to make movies like The Boggins, and like weird, like
even the creatures in The Gate.
Monsters.
Yeah.
But, like it was different and weird, and they were just trying to make whatever, or like The Brain, or I want to see that shit more, but
like just get weird with it.
Yeah.
There's so many things that came out in the 80s that I am shocked that got greenlit, because those ideas were just flat out insane, and their creativity and the imagination made it work. Like they were having fun, and they were making it ridiculous as possible. Like you said, The Gate, and then The Gate 2, and then
Rawhide Rex. Freaking dumb looking jaw open monster that's just like it looks like a dinosaur.
Yeah,
looks like a
just really weird characters, and just the imagination was there. And I feel like there's so much of this, like the Photoshop generation, where it's just quick, all done on the computer, and not as hands-on as it should be.
I mean, doing a movie like Brain Damage, like that's I mean, it's such a fun, crazy, silly, wild thing. But I mean, it's not complicated. I mean, you're just having a cool idea and incorporating it and taking it to its fullest potential, which is awesome.
And it doesn't look cheesy. Like maybe to like people of modern day, it looks cheesy, but it looks gross and it's slimy and it looks tangible. It looks real. It looks more real than any dinosaur in Jurassic World. Like it just looks like a big computer screen, like an IBM screensaver chasing after you. It's too shiny. It's too like Phil said before, sharp. Like the animatronics from the original Jurassic Park. That's a milestone in filmmaking. Like that shit looks like real dinosaurs.
Yeah. You know what was one of my favorite creature designs in a recent movie? Did you guys ever see The Ritual?
Yes.
Oh yeah, Ritual is good.
Dude,
yeah.
That's one of my favorite horror movies of the last 10 years.
Oh, me too, dude.
I've seen that so many times, and I got a picture of it right here, but just this creature design is so fucking sick.
I mean that's the kind of imagery that I love in horror movies, that like Steven was talking about with Lair the White Worm, like that folklore, like heavy mythologized creature, and like just like you feel like you're transported into this world in this movie. It feels very real, very tangible. They've built up a whole ecosystem within this thing, which I value a lot in when I'm watching a movie. Absolutely. So, yeah, I love that movie.
They fleshed out the atmosphere and everything. Yeah. I mean, it felt creepy. It didn't feel cold and hollow. It was Phil,
great acting.
That movie?
Yeah. What's that?
Do you know who directed that movie? Off
David Bruckner, I believe. He did the Hellraiser remake and
talk about
the Night House. Yeah, I love that movie. If a horror t-shirt company dropped a sick line of The Ritual, I would definitely buy one. Just saying.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Start writing these down, fellas.
Yeah, that would be sick. Yeah. I love that movie.
Yeah.
I wish we would get some more like mythical horror movies. Like I feel like there's untapped potential with like a Loch Ness Monster type of movie. Because it's so unknown and mysterious, kind of like how Bigfoot is, but like no one has ever done like a Loch Ness Monster type of thing, not to my knowledge at least. I think that would be so rad, kind of like in the same vein as like the Mothman. Like it's
only want a Loch Ness Monster movie if it's directed by the same person that did fucking Deep Blue Sea with LL Cool J. LL Cool J's in this.
That's a great movie. I rewatched it again.
Also, stacked cast: Michael Rapaport, Sam Jackson.
I kind of threw it on as a joke, like, "Yeah, this will be dumb." I was like, "Damn, this movie holds up."
The parrot in that movie is hilarious. The parrot is
LL Cool J is just making chef jokes the whole time because he's a chef.
He's one of the only like random celebrities I've ever met. LL Cool J.
LL Cool J.
Tell the story.
I was like maybe pre-middle school or so. It was like my travel soccer team. We worked a concession stand at the like local music pavilion, who just so happened it was a LL Cool J concert. So we were like selling food to raise money for a soccer tournament. And after the concert, I had to take the trash out to like the back dumpsters, like me and this other kid. And there was like a limo and just like they like brought in, like, it's funny. They had like all the like convicts from the local jail right there to like clean up. And there was just like this mass of people just like shouting. And I was like, what the hell is going on? They're all in like jumpsuits and everything. And so I like come around the front of the limo and they just didn't see me, and I come up and I just literally walk right next to LL Cool J, and I just look over and I'm like, oh shit. I was like, you're LL Cool J. And he's like, yes, I am. And he like shook my hand, and I was like, tight. And and then there's this dude in the back that's like, LL, and he's like, I want to be a rapper just like you. And LL's just like, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. And he's like, I'll say it. He's like, life is like potholes, man. He's like, you're gonna hit potholes in life. You just gotta keep on driving through those potholes. And the guy was like, yeah, I'm gonna be ready. And I was like, it's got a motivational speech by LL Cool J.
Dude, that is awesome.
Long Island represent, baby. That's a Long Islander.
Oh, no way. Hell yeah.
Yeah, he lives or he used to live. I mean, he grew up on Long Island, and then he lived out. He had like a huge like mansion out here. He might still have it. I don't really know, but yeah, he seems like a really cool dude. Pretty down to earth for like how big he. I mean, he was huge in the '90s. Like he was that dude.
I was mad because I didn't hear him play Mama Said Knock You Out. And that was the one song I wanted to hear. So
I have a weird LL Cool J story. When I was 19, I worked at Sears. Does anyone know what Sears is here?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right.
You
I didn't know.
I got on layaway at Sears in the 90s.
Yeah. They had the layaway program and everything. And I was working at Sears, and LL Cool J had a he was like endorsed by them or sponsored by them, and I would be in doing I was like a cashier, so I was at the checkout portion, and there was one part of the store where there was this TV that just kept playing this one ad over and over and over and over, and it was a fucking 35-second ad, and it was Mama Said Knock You Out and LL Cool J talking about fucking how him and his dad used to go to Sears and it's a great company. I was like, I can't be here anymore.
LL, you ruined my day.
The chickens to LL Cool J.
Yeah,
The variety.
Absolutely.
Shit. Hold on. Let me see if I. Oh, hold up.
No, please God, this is gonna take me back and make me want to. Let me get a razor real quick for my wrists.
The best song.
Is this LL Cool J Sears commercial 2008?
It's not this. It was like an in-store type of deal. Like it only played in store. No,
That's it?
no, it's not it.
Ah,
Like, it wasn't a commercial on like the television. It was just like it was like a store promo type of deal.
Yeah.
So like it only played. Oh, the Sears air conditioner commercial is classic.
Oh, yep, that is a classic.
Honey, it's hot.
honey.
I'll call tomorrow. You'll call today.
Oh yeah.
Dude, commercials hit way different for sure.
Dude, I
How
would
does
just watch
that-
like a 5-hour commercial compilation of the 90s.
How does
Yeah,
that get to live in my brain? How does that get to
those
just stay
live
there?
free.
It's just there.
Local furniture store jingles all stay in my head. You know, like we don't have that today.
That or like paralegal people like Celino and Barnes, injury attorney.
Oh yeah, yep. 100%.
And there was this one. Did you guys have bears?
What do you mean?
It was like a furniture store, and the commercial was like "Run to Bears," everybody. It was like it kind of felt like that old time rock and roll. Like,
Oh, yeah. Do you know what bothered me when I learned? We had like a local like cars dealer, commercial or whatever, and it was like his slogan was "I give them away, but my wife won't let me." And then I went to like another like on a trip out of state or something like that, and they used the same exact line, and I was just like, "What? Are you telling me that this is just like generic copy used by all used car dealerships?" And I was super pissed.
Someone's
off.
ripping somebody off, or they're paying a service. That's bullshit.
Yeah. Hire a new marketing team.
This shit is played out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fellas, we are coming up on 2.5 hours. So I would say that's a decent stopping point.
That's
but
a healthy helping of an episode, baby.
it's
Good
a
luck.
one.
editing
What's
it.
that?
Say good luck editing it.
You know what? I'm probably just gonna let this one ride. No edits. I mean, I'm certainly not gonna splice in clips of everything we talked about
Sure.
because it'll take me 8 hours to do.
I thought you were going to give me my robot voice.
Your robot voice?
Yeah, alter it so I have a cool voice.
I'll see what I can do. I'll make you sound really bad.
Make him sound like Johnny Five.
Oh,
Short circuit?
gosh.
Anyone? Oh, okay.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
A snowblower or something like that. What does he say? Like,
The last time I watched that movie, I think my nuts were still in my stomach. I really don't remember.
I saw it, but I don't remember anything of what happens. But
Just every time Steven talks, it's just R2D2 sounds. It's like no words. It's just beeps and boops.
Some bleep, bleep, blork, blork type stuff.
No, every time he talks, I'm just gonna add fart noises. 'Cause
Or just do like the AOL dial-up sound when you like go to pick up the phone and it's like.
But you definitely have to add random farts. That would be incredible.
I was ripping ass this whole episode. I just didn't I did the one cheek sneak. So I really wish we could go back in time and just I'll let it rip.
It sounds like a wrestling move.
You can't hear farts on the moon.
That was gonna be the Rock's move until Vince touched his dick or something. I don't know.
Jeez.
Well, I'm going to be really upset if you don't alter my voice to sound like Bobcat Goldthwait. So
I'm personally going to overdub everything you said in an impression.
Hey, do a kung fu flick
So
with
tell
Bobcat
everybody where they can find you guys, your socials and whatnot.
on the dark web.
Oh, the dark web. We can't talk about it.
Nah, you can toxiccoffin.com. You can go to our website and you can buy most of our shit. We've got plenty of shirts. Buy them all. We're going to do a sale on all of our Mandy merch pretty soon. So if you haven't gotten any Mandy shirts from us, because our license is going to expire after this month and we won't be able to sell it anymore, we're going to do a hefty sale on that stuff to blow it out. So buy it.
Yeah, they are high quality shirts. I love mine. I have the tie-dye version. I have the Mandy print framed in my living room.
I will be buying some.
Hell yeah.
I do love me some Mandy.
And then on social, just at toxic_coffin is our Instagram. And help us have better engagement, please.
Yes, everybody share this episode. Comment, like.
You don't even have to buy anything. Just share it. Hit that save button or write an email to your local congressman about getting us better impressions. Thank you.
Fuck Instagram. This is horse shit. I got it. There's a surcharge from Apple on my credit card statement. I'll be very upset.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
keep an eye out for that.
Right now,
It's 30%. 30%.
it's a big chunk of change.
That's criminal. Yeah, fuck that. But yeah.
Holy shit, Lance! Did anyone ever tell you that you look like LP from Run the Jewels?
Yes, actually,
Oh shit.
only one other person.
Fuck yeah, I'll take silver. You took off your hat, and I didn't know what your hair looked like under there, and I was like, holy shit, LP.
I love Run the Jewels.
Def
Me
Jux.
too.
Wait, is
So
the
good.
guy in Run the Jewels name LP?
Like EL.
Yeah, it's like ELP.
Okay, because Lance
Used to
is
run a record label.
Lance Parker, so he is LP.
Oh shit.
And
It
that's
made
what
it
people,
all make sense.
and people have called me that for a long time. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Blown the cover right off.
LP,
He
Linkin
is
Park, Lance Parker.
I
Hell
need
yeah.
some of LP's money. Look at that.
All right, well, we are going to get on out of here. Thank you guys so much for listening. Toxic Coffin, thank you so much. Doug,
Thanks,
I love
dudes.
you. Hey, there's a confetti. How's he
Woo!
do it? We don't know. I don't know.
I'm in
I wish this
Spain.
water shot out of my toilet right now.
No confetti for us.